Is the FutureSwap working? Welcome to another DeFi chain video. My name is Kyugi, and as always, I try to provide you with some data and insights about DeFi chain so that you can make smart decisions for yourself. Today, I want to do the second episode of defichain-facts. Last time, I got a lot of positive feedback. Thanks for that. Thanks for everyone who wrote a comment. Always good to know if you like the format or not. And as a reminder, defichain-facts is about facts. So I'm trying to provide data, provide measurements and insights on the stuff without opinions, without interpretations, just what's going on. And today I want to talk about the FutureSwap, and because not many people seem to know exactly what the FutureSwap does and how it affects the whole system, and also what are the implications of the FutureSwap. And so there are some misunderstandings floating around. So let's talk about that. So what we cover today is, on the one hand, how does it work? I already made videos about that, but maybe let's do a recap on how does the FutureSwap work technically and what does that mean? And does it create algo tokens or not? Because that's one of the big questions right now, I think, in the community. And we look at the current situation where we stand right now after 1.5 years of FutureSwap running. Let's see where we are. So let's dive right in and see how this thing is working. First thing, I'm having here now that the Tesla DUSD pool has nothing to do with Tesla. I just needed a D token where I have a nice logo so that I can represent tokens of that D token. So don't get confused, it's just Tesla. Now, if we have on the top a normal DEX pool, the Tesla DUSD pool, and a normal pool on the DEX automated market maker. We have liquidity in there, we have DUSD in this pool, we have Tesla in this pool, and if someone wants to swap, they send in DUSD into the pool, so they increase the amount of DUSD in the pool, and they get Tesla out, so they decrease the amount of Tesla in this pool. Swap for them. Also the other way around, you can send in Tesla, and get out DUSD. That's a normal DEX swap. On the FutureSwap, it's a bit different because the FutureSwap is not instantaneously. The FutureSwap is only once per week on a defined block, and you have to tell the chain beforehand that you say, I want to participate in the FutureSwap, in the next FutureSwap, and I want to swap that amount. And then you swap in, for example, there are two ways that you can do it. You swap in either the DUSD or the D token. If you swap in the DUSD, you get out D token at the price of Oracle plus 5%. So if you swap in, for example, let's do some numbers. If the Tesla Oracle stands at 100, you swap in 105 DUSD and you get out 1 Tesla, because 105 to 5% fee to call it, or this difference. Same in the other direction. You can say I swap in Tesla and I get out DUSD, and in this case it's 5% below the Oracle price. So if you say Tesla again at 100 USD, you swap in 1 Tesla, you get out 95 DUSD for this Tesla. That's technically how it works. It's always the Oracle price exactly on the future block. So even if it's only once per week, and you can commit to the FutureSwap during the week, so you can say, now I want to participate in the next FutureSwap. This doesn't mean that you get the current Oracle price, you get the Oracle price that's active on the FutureSwap, exactly on the FutureSwap block. So you have to keep that in mind. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to already lock in now. And then you don't have slippage or anything. It's exactly this Oracle price is a fixed price for the FutureSwap. So first question, why does this lead to Oracle prices, or to the DEX prices being around the Oracle? If you look at it, if you say, okay, the Tesla pool, the DEX price is generally, the price is traded there, and there is no connection in theory. Just because of the pool, it's no connection, it's a free market. But let's assume that the future swap is now happening in next block, and the current price in the Tesla pool is 160 USD per T Tesla, and the oracle price is at 100. One note, the oracles are in USD, so if Tesla trades at $100 on the normal market, our oracle is 100 for the Tesla, so it's in USD. Within the token system, DUSD always counts at 1, so it's a fixed oracle price of 1. So it holds the price to this 1 at 1 DUSD and D Tesla to 100 DUSD, right? That's why you get here then the corresponding 100 or 105 and 95. So let's say the Tesla trades at 106 DUSD, oracle price is at 100. Now the Tesla is too expensive on the DEX. It's on 106 and shouldn't be. It should be within the plus minus 5% range. So what you can do is you mint one Tesla, sell it on the DEX and receive 106 DUSD for it. Then you take this, from this 160 USD, you take 105 and send it into the FutureSwap. You receive, because oracle is at 100, you receive for 105 DUSD, you receive one Tesla. With this one Tesla, you pay back your loan, and the delta, the $1, is your profit. So you have a strong incentive to do that. And when you did that, you took one Tesla, sold it in the pool, and therefore the price in the pool went down a bit. Depends on how much you do that. But as long as you get more than 5% premium in the pool, you make a profit with that. So the price goes down. If you do it the other way around, if Tesla is now trading at 94, oracle again 100, you can mint, take DUSD, buy, so you take 94 DUSD, buy one Tesla at the pool because it's in discount, take this one Tesla, put it into the FutureSwap, get out 95 DUSD on the FutureSwap block, and now you pay back your 94 DUSD loan and you have again the 1 DUSD profit. So this time you bought the Tesla in the pool because it's too cheap in the pool, and it raises up, and you can do that as long as price goes up. You can't do it in a loop because the FutureSwap happens once and you have to log in before. So it's not instant, it's not directly an infinite loop. So it's also a bit limited. The effect of the FutureSwap is limited to the whole liquidity in the system. Because even if you have a 1000% premium, let's say a huge premium, if there is no one with enough liquidity to create the tokens beforehand, mint it or whatever, and sell them through the DEX, you can't get the pool down. So that's why also we had in the beginning, when the FutureSwap was created, we had a 30% premium of the D tokens. And there it took a few weeks until the premium went down within the plus minus 5% range. Because we had a strong premium, we had a lot of inflows and not enough people who knew already about the system, about the FutureSwap and everything, and also who used it actively. And therefore there was not enough liquidity to change it within 1 week. So it's not an instant hard cut method, it's a general bounding area. Also maybe one topic why this is not instantaneously. This is on purpose, and why it's not directly on the price but plus minus 5%. This is also on purpose. Two main reasons. First main reason is if you directly bind it and peg it to the oracle exactly, you have a high risk of this thing being considered a security, and therefore central exchanges are less likely to list it. That was one thing in the beginning where I said, okay, it shouldn't be that. It should be a secondary market. It's connected to the oracle price. It follows the oracle price over time, but not one-on-one all the time. And the second, and in my opinion most important reason, is the classic markets are closed on weekends. Oracles don't change on the weekend or overnight or during the night. So it's only changing during the trading hours of the normal exchanges. The DEX is open 24/7. You can trade 24/7 on a DEX. So if now on a weekend, on a Saturday, there is some big news about Tesla, for example, some sales, whatever, and people anticipate a big pump on Monday when the market's open, they can already trade on the DEX on DefiChain, so they can buy already Tesla. But the Oracle price is still on the low level because the classic market didn't change. The real price of the asset didn't change yet. So there must be the possibility to have a difference, because otherwise, whatever mechanic we would have there, whatever mechanism we would have there, would always bump the price down, keep it down, do whatever, and work against the market. And then suddenly, when the oracles go up, it would shoot up, which is not what a secondary market should be like. So this is the big benefit of DefiChain, that we can trade on a weekend, we trade 24/7, but because of that, we need this range, that it's not instantly, and also not instantly to plus minus 5%, because it could be that traders expect a plus 15% on Monday, right? That's why it's only once per week on one block. There you have that. Even there you could have still a premium if it's everybody's buying or selling, both sides. So also a big discount, but a big difference to the Oracle price. But overall, over time, it will always go into the plus minus 5%. So that's the reason why we have those that mechanism in that way. So it's like a loose binding, not hard cap to the peg. So with that out of the way, that's how it works. That's how the FutureSwap technically works. Now the big question is, how is this creating or destroying tokens? Is this doing anything with tokens? And let's look at what actually happens with tokens. First thing, on a DEX, and that's something that's really important to understand also generally, on a DEX, if you do a swap on a DEX, you do not change any overall token balance in the system. Unless you have a burn fee, then tokens are burned. But in a normal DEX, normal pool, you have a commission and everything that's paid out to the liquidity providers, but there is no change in overall tokens in the system. If you swap in DUSD, you add DUSD to the pool, so the DUSD that you remove from your wallet get added to the pool, and the Tesla that you get from the pool are removed from the pool. So you receive them, but they are removed from the pool balance. So the reserves here change, and maybe the liquidity providers get a part of it, but that's it. There is no token change or anything. The overall amount of DUSD in the system and the overall amount of the Tesla in the system are unchanged by the swap. So they stay the same and are perfectly stable and nothing changed. FutureSwap is different. FutureSwap, when you swap in, whatever you send in is burned, and whatever you get out is minted. So there are tokens created and there are tokens burned. Same in the other direction, the D tokens get burned and the DUSD get minted. Now, what's important to understand is now the DUSD value of those tokens. Because, yeah, if you say now, for example, with the 100 Oracle, you send in 105 DUSD, you get out 1 D Tesla. So 105 burned, 1 minted. What does that mean? And therefore, we also always look at the DUSD value of those tokens based on the Oracle price, because that's where we are over time. So when you look at the DUSD value of the tokens in the system, 105 get burned, 100 DUSD value, because 1 Tesla gets minted. So 5 DUSD value of tokens gets reduced from the system. Right at the block of the FutureSwap, 5 DUSD are out now. So 5% of the volume that goes through the FutureSwap is directly out of the system at this time. Both ways. So even if you go in here, you have 105 in, 100 out. In this case, you have 100 in, 95 out. So both times 5% out. That's the effect of the FutureSwap on the token balances, of the DUSD value of the tokens in the system on the spot of the FutureSwap. So right away, tokens are removed, or token value is removed from the system on the spot. Now the question is it possible that the FutureSwap creates algo tokens? First thing, what's also important, the FutureSwap swaps or converts tokens. Say this way. Let's keep swap for the text, and here we say convert. Okay, so it converts DUSD to dTesla. If those DUSD are now unbacked or algo DUSD, the created dTesla are also algo dTesla because there is no loan to back them, right? So they are created by the algorithmic. In the same way here, if there is a DUSD loan for this DUSD, after you convert it, there is now a dTesla that has no dTesla loan, but there is a dTesla where there is an DUSD loan which also needs to be paid back. So overall loan value in the system stays the same, and the token value actually got reduced. So overall, we still have it backed, if you call it like that. Not with the same token, but there is a loan for that. So overall, the FutureSwap converts the tokens. If you have algo tokens coming in, it converts it to algo tokens. If you have back tokens coming in, it converts it to back tokens, but also reduces the overall amount, and it can only reduce algos, right? Because loans are still the same. So it reduces algos by 5% of the volume from the FutureSwap on the spot, on the block of the FutureSwap. So this all doesn't create new algo tokens, right? So is there a way of creating new algo tokens with the FutureSwap? And yes, there is a way. Consider that the dTesla is now at 100, and someone comes in, takes 105 DUSD, swaps them, converts them to 1 Tesla, and holds them, does nothing with it. The Tesla price now goes up to 200. 200 means Oracle times 95, 95% is 190. So Oracle went up to 200, and this user takes the 1 Tesla, the 1 dTesla, and swaps it or converts it back to DUSD. So it gets 190 DUSD for it. Now it converted in 105, got out 190. So the difference is now 85 DUSD that were created by this process. So that's how FutureSwap or the FutureSwap in general creates algo tokens, because those 85 DUSD are definitely created by the algorithm. Same way in the other direction, if someone swaps in at 200 the Oracle price, so at 210 DUSD in, and then it drops to 100, he gets out 95. So then the FutureSwap removes algo tokens from the system, because 210 in, 95 out means over 100 DUSD gone from the system, algo tokens out. So with the change of the asset price of the oracles, the FutureSwap can create or remove algo tokens. It always removes them right on the spot with the fee, but it can create or remove algo tokens. Also, one thing to notice there is the Tesla went up 100% from 100 to 200, but the created algo tokens are only 85 on a 105 DUSD in. So on 105 DUSD in, 85 DUSD created. So it's 100% up, but not 100% of the volume is created in algo tokens. Also something to keep in mind. It's not directly linear, but it's connected to the move of the stock market, basically, or the D-asset market. Whatever D-asset we have there, the move of the market defines if there are algos or value created or value removed in the system. So I hope this is now this is clear enough how the FutureSwap works and how the stock market affects the value of the FutureSwap. So let's look at the current situation on the stock market and what we have basically in the world right now or in the FutureSwap. If you look at the stock market, as I said, stock market strongly affects the situation of the FutureSwap. And just on the last 1.5 years, roughly, if you look at the stock market, overall markets, S&P 500 and QQQ, it went up, S&P 22%, QQQ 37%. First it went down a bit, so from down here it's even more up. We are at an all-time high in the stock market. We are at basically nearly everywhere. Bitcoin, no need to talk about that, crazy up. So we have a really strong increase in the market. And also something to keep in mind, as I said before, the FutureSwap, in the beginning when we created it, we had a strong premium in the D tokens. And therefore we had too many DUSD in the system, not enough D tokens in the system. Because that's also something that you could, how to look at it, is that if there's an imbalance between the supply of the DUSD and the supply of the D tokens, the FutureSwap changes this imbalance. If there are too many DUSD, not enough D tokens, the FutureSwap converts a few or some of the DUSD into the D tokens until the balance is there, price is back at the level. If there are too many D tokens compared to the amount of DUSD in the system, the FutureSwap converts the D tokens back to the DUSD. In the beginning, we had not enough D tokens, too many DUSD compared to the D tokens, strong supply for DUSD, not enough supply for the D tokens, strong premium, and the FutureSwap converted DUSD into D tokens. So we burned a lot of DUSD and created a lot of D tokens. Now, as I said, if we do that and then the stock market goes up, we have a strong potential of creating algo tokens. Now we have the situation that the stock market went up a lot in the last 1.5 years. If you look at the current positions of the FutureSwap, say it this way, so we can look over all the coins, all the D tokens, and see where the FutureSwap created the biggest DUSD value in tokens, because nearly all, not all, but nearly all D tokens have a balance that the FutureSwap created more tokens than burned it. So netto VR or net VR basically in this situation, or in this case for most of them, DUSD got burned, D tokens got minted. And if you look at the strongest positions and how they performed stock market wise, we see current value. That's not the value when it was created or something, that's the current value of the created tokens. Net tokens, so there are, for example, for the MicroStrategy, there are tokens created, so DUSD burned, MicroStrategy created, and the other way around. Sometimes MicroStrategy got burned and DUSD got created for it. But net amount, after you take that, you have an amount of the MicroStrategy that are net created, and there is a value, DUSD value for them at the current Oracle price, and that's the current value we have. So we have a current DUSD value in the market. If you count it as one, it's 11.6 million for MicroStrategy, 10.8 for DLT, 9.8 for SPY, and so on. So that's the biggest positions of the FutureSwap right now. And if you look how they performed over the last year, MicroStrategy went up 238%, Dcoin 240%, Tesla 60%, QQQ 50%, and so on. Only DLT is down a bit, but overall we have a strong increase in all the stock markets, which means, based on what we know, there must be a strong increase in the created tokens, or in the created token value, because we created a lot of tokens and went up. Just to also see that, or maybe as a comparison, if you look at the chart with the 230, let's take one look at our real DEX prices, because that's the MicroStrategy DUSD pool, the biggest position that we currently have. How did this position perform basically? And I have here the price of the DEX pool. So that's now how our price on the DEX of the MicroStrategy behaved in the last time. And the dotted lines are the FutureSwap range basically, so the plus minus 5% around the Oracle price. And if you want to think about it, the FutureSwap has a position in the market, and on the upper bound it's basically selling and or creating tokens, and on the lower bound it's buying or taking D tokens out of the system. So here we see in the beginning, there was a lot of on the upper bound. So here, we created tokens down here, are likely, also then it's once a week, so it's a daily chart. So likely here we created tokens, likely here we created tokens, and likely here always when we were out of the range and then came strongly down back into the range. That's likely, I didn't check exactly, but that's likely where the FutureSwap happened. So here we created one, here the FutureSwap created tokens, here the FutureSwap created tokens. Then it was in the range. I mean, that's also one thing that we see. It's nice within the range, sometimes spikes out, strong premiums if there's strong buying, but over time it always stays in the range. And then here we have likely somewhere here we remove tokens again, here we removed likely tokens, and now we are in this range, and the question is what's happening right now. But overall, you see we created tokens in these areas and we moved them back here. So I mean, those two are likely plus minus zero or even positive for the chain because we moved tokens. The ones down here are in the plus, especially right now. So the value of the created tokens is increasing right now. So based on the numbers, it's clearly the market goes up, we created tokens, so there is value created. So let's look at how much value is created there. Because we can track how much D tokens are created, how much D tokens are burned, how much DUSD are created, and how much DUSD are burned. So this number here, basically, the light green is the created D token, always a DUSD value at the current order price of the created D tokens. The dark is the created DUSD, dark red is the burned DUSD, and light red is the burned D tokens. And here, as you see, in the beginning, we created a lot of D tokens and burned DUSD for it. And then after some time, it started to flow back. And here we had a lot again. That was when Cake started buying a lot of D tokens. So there was premium in the system. We had not enough supply of D tokens compared to the DUSD. So we burned DUSD and created D tokens. And now we have for some time not a lot of DUSD being burned, but D tokens being, DUSD being created and D tokens being burned. So in the beginning, basically until here, we had more the flow of DUSD flowing into the D tokens being converted there. And now we have the flow back, D tokens being converted to DUSD. A bit because they flowed in the beginning, and also because we burned a lot of DUSD during the last year, and therefore the supply of DUSD is going down, and therefore they are flowing back. So that's what we see here. And you see there's a lot of value and a lot of burning, and the line in the middle is the delta, basically. So what at the current price the position is. And as you see, as we had in the chart before, if we look at the stock market from before, when the stock market went down and then it went up. So in the beginning of end of 2022, it went down. And if you now look at the FutureSwap value, here you see stock market went down. So we had a strong negative value, which means token value was removed from the system. And then over time it came up a bit, and as expected from the stock market creation or stock market values, right now we have a positive delta. Overall, we have currently net value of 75 million DUSD value created via the FutureSwap, and DUSD burned of 60.78 million. So a net position of 15 million DUSD value created. One thing to keep in mind here is that the current value is the current order price. If prices drop tomorrow by 10% because Bitcoin crashes down, stock market goes down again, we are at the current all-time high, people expect a crash, I don't know what happened. If the value goes down, we have this value of 75 million suddenly goes down by 10%. So 7 million down. If everything pumps, the stock market, everything pumps 10% tomorrow, which Okay, would be a lot, but if that happens, it goes up 7. So this value changes directly with the overall stock market and the positions we have. Also, this is the current Oracle price. As we said before, if this conversion back is happening, we instantly burn 5% of the value. So 5% of this value, you could consider 5% of this value being out instantly. So that's again 3.75 million DUSD, which, yeah, it's a question if you count them or not, because as long as they are not converted back, the value is there, but they don't affect the algo DUSD in the system. Right now, they will affect it. So there's a potential. So maybe it's better to not call it a net position. It's a potential net position of 15 million DUSD. If everything would be converted back at the current Oracle prices, if the values change, it changes. So that's the current state of the FutureSwap value. Now, how does this affect the algo ratio, right? Or the algo token? Say this algo ratio is always a bit difficult because if you burn a lot of algos, but the loans also go down, the algo ratio has no effect. So I prefer to look at the total algo value. So again, D token, value of D tokens of all the algorithmic D tokens and value of all the DUSD or all values in DUSD and sum them up. And if you look at that, you see over since mid of last year, the value got up, down, and this is again a bit the future, the stock market, how the value changes. You have the spikes. Honestly, they are just measurement errors. If there's some glitch in ocean or something, so you can ignore them. They are just glitches. But the overall trend is right now basically flat. And I don't want to interpret the data, but what you need to keep in mind here is that there are two things affecting this right now. Because based on this value, 15 million created algo tokens, you would expect this not to be flat. You would expect this to go up to here. Even more because here in April, we were negative in the value, so it's more than 15 million delta. But it was flat. And that's because of all the DUSD that got burned via the fee and everything. The DEX fee, the buy and burn bot, they burned a lot of DUSD. And that's why this 15 million delta and also the interest rates and everything, 5% interest rate on all the loans. We have currently around 100 million DUSD loans in the system, and they pay 5% every year, 5 million DUSD out of the system every year. So that's why this is not going up, but actually going down a bit, although the FutureSwap value due to the stock market increase is up at the moment. So that's the facts, that's the numbers that we have right now. And no, the 50 million DUSD, that's the number that people see. But if you want to interpret the data, I think it's important to understand what affects this and how this comes together. Now, with all this information, I would be interested what you think about the FutureSwap. Does it work or not? I mean, I started this, is it working? But facts are not to be interpreted in this series. So tell me in the comments, do you think it's working? Is this information interesting for you? If people still like the format, give a thumbs up and I do another video about that or about stuff like that. If not, then not. So leave a comment and see you in the next video.